Hello and welcome to this live video, this live lesson here on the AM Language YouTube channel. It's a Thursday afternoon, and today we are going to look at how you can introduce negative comments when talking to people. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like and share the video. You'll also notice, for those of you who regularly watch, I have a new haircut, finally. It's the last time I had a haircut was back in August. So this is a good change. I'm very happy that I finally managed to have a haircut. Now, we have uploaded a brand new short video today, Past Continuous Part 1. And the context is storytelling. So make sure you watch that video. We've now uploaded 9 short videos. Next week will be the 10th, and we'll be halfway through one of the goals set for these short videos. So today, yes, we're looking at how you can introduce negative comments when discussing. Noella, good afternoon. Thank you for joining the lesson today. Boa tarde. Irina F, привет. Welcome to today's lesson. And Leondina, good afternoon. You look very well with your new haircut, says Leondina. Thank you very much, Leondina. Much appreciated. I'm very happy with this haircut. It's nice to be able to have your hair cut after such a long time. So this week, just as a recap, on Monday, we looked at buying and selling goods. Tuesday, we talked about market trends. Yesterday, we looked at relax and switch off, comparison between childhood and now. Today is introduce negative comments. And tomorrow is TV show English, where we will look at some TV shows. And we'll be able to have a conversation about that. But in today's video, introducing negative comments. This is effectively about giving your opinion, and you want to try and give your opinion, but you want to say, I'm not too sure about this sort of thing. So it's an important skill to know how to do in English. Irina F says that she agrees with Leondina. Thank you very much, Irina F. So we will get straight into it, and I'm going to look at 2 types of when you end up introducing negative comments. The first one effectively is just expressing disagreement. Okay, so that's number 1. Okay, expressing disagreement. And number 2 is expressing interruption. Now, there is a difference. There is a difference between this, because if you are expressing disagreement, it might be your turn to talk anyway. Expressing interruption, this is because you're going to basically interrupt someone talking because you're going to give your opinion. So we'll start off with looking at whether we can tell the difference between phrases that we use just to express disagreement and phrases we use when we're actually going to interrupt someone. And then we can give like a little bit of a context. So let's begin with the following. Okay, we're going to go. So remember, you're linking the following to either 1 or 2. Are you simply expressing a disagreement, or are you interrupting someone? Of course, because we're looking at negative, all of these points are going to be negative. Okay, so A. Alida, hello, long time no see. Yes, indeed, Alida. Welcome back to the channel. Buenos dias. from where you are in the world in Argentina. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining us today. So we are linking the following to 1 and 2. Okay, so remember, guys, we're looking to all of these are disagreement. They're going to be negative, but the question is, are they simply disagreeing or are they interrupting? That's what we want to look at. Some will be a little bit obvious. Some might not be as obvious. Okay, okay, just 2 more. As always, we're going to start off perhaps slightly easier, and then we'll work our way up, making it just a little bit harder. Okay, so we've got expressing disagreement and expressing an interruption, which is also going to be negative. So, like I said, guys, all of them are negative, but we're trying to see if, okay, would this be your turn to talk? Would this be the other person's turn to talk, or are we interrupting what someone is saying? Because that's the important bit. We're starting off slightly easy at the easy end, and we're going to work our way up, making it a little bit harder as we go along. Hello, Sandra. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. So Leondina has said A goes with 1, which is the same as Alida and Sandra. B goes with... Leondina said B goes with 1 as well. So does Alida. And Sandra said A, B, D, and F all go with 1. Okay, yes, I see how you've done this. Alida thinks that D also goes with 1, and E goes with 1. No, D goes with 1 for Leondina. So the others go with 2. Well, let's see if you guys are right. So the first one, I see your point, but yes, A is 1. B, we've got I see what you are saying, what you're getting at, but yes, again, this is expressing a disagreement. It's probably your turn to talk as well. C, we've got sorry to interrupt, but yeah, this is definitely going to be 2. D, sorry, D is, you could say that. However, all of you, hard to see about this one. We've got, not too sure, are we? I think this one is where we've got some mixed answers over here. Let's see. Okay, so the answer for that one is actually still 1. E. We're going to go with if I'm interrupt. Yes, that's 2. And finally, F. Before you go on, I like to interrupt. Yes, F goes with 1 as well. Oh, sorry, no. F goes with 2. Good, well done. So we're off to a good start. Now, when it comes to using these, I'm going to concentrate on the ones of interruption. When you are interrupting, okay. A polite one also, if I may interject, okay. This is a formal version of what we're talking about. If I may interject, okay. If you interject, you are interrupting. You are interrupting what's being said to give your opinion. So if I may interject, it's all about the pronunciation in terms of intonation patterns. So if we look at C, okay, how do we say this? Sorry to interrupt, but. Sorry to interrupt, but. We are emphasizing the sorry bit because we are interrupting. So sorry to interrupt. If we look at E, again, we are interrupting. If I may interrupt, if I may interrupt. For this one, we are stressing may. May is the modal verb. It's very polite. So we are stressing that word. We're always trying to stress the most polite word when we interrupt. If I may interrupt. And finally, F, before you go on, I'd like to say something. Before you go on, I'd like to say something. Before you go on, I'd like to say something. For this one, again, the emphasis stress is before you go on. I'd like to say something. So we need to think carefully about which words we stress in order to be polite at the same time. Okay, right. So now that we've got off to this start, let's continue. And let's see just a few more. Okay, so we're going to go with this round one more time. And then we're going to try and start putting these into an actual conversation. So let's see. So same task as before, same task as before. But we're just going to look at a few more. Okay, so this time I'm going to go lowercase, so A. B. Always happens with B. The sunglasses come up over there with the emoji. C. Okay, D. E. And F. Okay, guys, you've got A, B, C, D, E, and F. It's the same activity as before, linking them to one or two, and then we'll move on to the next bit where we're going to try and actually complete various conversations with them, with these phrases. Like I said, guys, the emphasis here is all about thinking, okay, these are negative comments, but how do we introduce a negative comment? Whether it's because it's our turn to talk or are we going to interrupt? So you've got A, I'm not sure. I go along with that view. B, I'm not sure about that. C, did I not put C? Oh, no, I didn't put C. That's why. Sorry, guys. I didn't put C. Well, that was silly of me. Okay, I'm going to add C. Okay, right, yes. Here's C. Apologies. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, no, I thought I had put in C, but clearly not. I find that very difficult to accept. So we got A, I'm not sure I go along with that view. B, I'm not sure about that. C, I find that very difficult to accept. D, can I throw in my 2 cents? Can I throw my 2 cents in, actually? E, before you move on, I'd like to say something, and F, sorry to cut you off, but what do you think the answers are to this? It's always interesting, whilst you're waiting, it's always interesting to look at how the battery on your laptop changes over time. I mean, I've just noticed how fast my battery now goes down. It just drains really, really quickly. When a battery is going down, we call it, it's just like a drain. Drains. We say drains. It drains really, really quickly. In the space of 15 minutes, I've lost 18% of battery power. Unbelievable. Well, battery life. So what do you guys think? You've got to link them to 1 or 2. 1 or 2. Just to remind ourselves. In case you're needing, in case you just need to remind yourself. Okay, good. So people are starting to come in with their answers. So Leondina said A, B, and C are 1, and 2, and D, E, and F are 2. If you agree, okay, right. So very similar answers here. Disagreement, A, B, C, and D, and just interrupting for a leader is F. Okay, if you guys agree with Leondina, let me know. But if you guys agree with the leader, let me know. I'll give this 10 more seconds, and then I will let you know what the correct answer is, what the correct answers are. Okay. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So answers. 1, it was actually A, B, and C are all 1, and D, E, and F are all 2. If we look at this, again, I'm just going to concentrate on the pronunciation. I'm not sure I go along with that view. I'm not sure if I go along with that view. So sure is the emphasis stress there. B, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. Again, sure is where the emphasis stress is. C, I find that very difficult to believe. I find that very difficult to believe. Emphasis stress in C, difficult. D, can I throw in my 2 cents? Can I throw in my 2 cents? This is a really good one. If you throw in your 2 cents, it means that you are interrupting to give your opinion. You might think, okay, my opinion doesn't mean a lot, but I'm just going to give my opinion. That's a really good one to know. E, before you move on, I'd like to say something. Before you move on, I'd like to say something. Here, on is probably still going to be either before, maybe before you move on. You might want to stress the before. And finally, F. Sorry to cut you off, but. Sorry to cut you off, but. So there we're stressing sorry. Okay, now let's try and put all of these into what would make sense, really. Okay, so for this context, I think one of the things we can talk about at the moment, in terms of this context, there's lots of, well, we need to give it a bit of a context. So let's open up a little discussion. Okay. And I think the discussion we can talk about would be, I've got a few topics we could go with on this one, but I think for the sake of this, we'll go with the following. Let's say, Trying to think. We'll go with this one. Okay, so let's say you're having a conversation and people are talking about the following. People should stop eating meat, okay? One that will often get different opinions. So let's see if we can complete this conversation. So you can start off with the following. We're going to do this time in terms of numbers, okay? See if you can complete this conversation. Just remember, okay, let's just quickly look at the different terms that we can look at. So here are the terms for disagreement. I'll post the one for disagreement now, so we can all see, because we want to make sure that we just double check as we go along. Okay, so we've got, I see your point, but we've got, I see what you're getting at, but. There's always a but. And then we've got a D, which is, you could say that, however. And then we've got, if I'm not sure if I go along with that view. Okay, so that's another one, which is just disagreement. This is because we're going to need to use these in this next activity. So we need to make sure that we can easily see the ones that we need to look at. I'm not sure if I agree with that. And finally, we're going to go with, I find that very difficult to accept. Okay, here we go. How can I reduce this? Not going to be easy. Okay. So these are the options for disagreement, just straight up disagreement. But interruption, interrupting to disagree. These are your options as follows. So let's do this again. Okay, if I may interrupt, obviously. Before you go on, yep. We come down to the next lot. Can I throw in my 2 cents? Before you move on, yep. And finally, sorry to cut you off. Okay, so now we've got all of our options. We can now tackle the next activity. So here we can easily see what's happened here. Okay, so here we can easily see. We've got the list of just straight up disagreement, and then we've got the list over here of interrupting to disagree. You need to choose these ones in order to complete the following. Now, in some cases, there's going to be more than one correct answer. The question is, are you choosing to use disagreement, just a normal disagreement, or are you choosing to use an interruption? Let's see how you guys get on. So we're going to say this is a conversation between Sam and let's go with Jenna, random name that's come to me. So, Sam. Okay. So we've got that first one there. Actually, let me just post that again because I should put that as one. Okay, because that's one. There we go. Much better. Okay, so we're going with two now. Done one. There's two answers per one. Okay. Okay, three, nearly there. Okay, let's see how you guys get on. So there's a conversation going on here. I know that was a little bit quiet because I was trying to think very carefully, but I think we've got a decent conversation over here. So you've got one, two, and three. In total, there are six answers, and you need to try and complete the conversation using the most appropriate, either just straight up disagreements or interruptions. So we've got Jenna. So we've got Sam, and Sam started off by saying, I think people should stop eating meat because it's cruel to animals. Jenna then says something. So there's blank. I don't think people should stop eating meat. It's an important industry and people like to enjoy their food. Sam with a blank. I don't think that's a good argument. Plus, it's bad for the environment. And then Jenna says something blank, but to say it's bad for the environment sounds a bit general, don't you think? Sam replies saying, no, I don't think so. And if you think about it, the environment is a serious problem. Jenna then comes in and says, but you haven't answered my point, and I don't think it makes sense because. And then Sam comes in with blank. Can I just explain why? So Noella has said for the first one, Jenna could say, I see your point, but, and Sam, you could say that, however. Okay, off to a really good start. Noella, I think that those are two very good answers as well. I think they go quite nicely. They're polite. They make sense. The conversation flows. So I think that's a good one there. Feel free to come in with your own examples because here there's probably going to be more than one correct answer. So definitely play around with the language. Let's see what you guys come out with. You don't just have to agree with one another. Noella says for number two, sorry to interrupt, but so this would be, you could say that. However, I don't think that's a good argument. Plus, it's bad for the environment. And the Geno comes in, sorry to interrupt, but to say it's bad for the environment sounds a bit general, don't you think? No, I don't think so. And if you think about it, the environment is a serious problem. And then Jenna comes in with something else. So let's see. Noella at the moment has given us her answers for one and two. Feel free to come in with your own answers for the others. We've still got in total, yeah, we're in total there are five missing answers. And then we'll open this up for a general discussion as well. Lynn Leondina has gone in with number one. So plus, so let's just remind ourselves because it's cruel to animals. So number one, Leondina has gone with I see your point, but I don't think people should stop eating meat. It's an important industry and people like to enjoy their food. And then Leondine has gone with the same one as Noella. You could say that. However, I don't think that's a good argument. Plus, it's bad for the environment. And Jenna has gone. So for number three, Leondina has said, sorry to cut you off, but. So Jenna over here is, okay, so sorry to cut you off, but you haven't answered my point, and I don't think it makes sense. So then you've said for three, Sam, for the last one, Sam would be saying, can I throw my 2 cents in? Um, can I explain why? Okay. Well, Leondina, I'm going to say that in terms of the flow of the conversation, your answers for one and two and the first part of three makes sense. I think if we're going to go with three, this would make sense if there wasn't can I, because then you could say, sorry to cut you off, but can I throw in, sorry, then you would say, can I throw in my 2 cents in and just explain why? So for three, you would have to make a slight adjustment. You would have to say, can I throw my 2 cents, my two, my 2 cents in and explain why? That would make sense, Leondina. So I'd give you that if you had said that. Alida says, sorry, I need to leave. Thanks, Richard. I hope to see you soon. Alida, thank you very much for joining and thank you for your participation. Hope to see you soon again. Take care and have a very good afternoon. So, Leondina, you were nearly correct there. We would just have to change too many things about that sentence, that last sentence, to make that work. But you could say, "Can I throw in my 2 cents and explain why?" So let's see what other people come in to complete this last one. But like I said, your answers so far for one and two have all been correct, and the first part for three, Leondina, that was correct as well. Let's give you guys a few more minutes to try and answer the remaining questions on the subject of food and eating meat. This is a really interesting field. I haven't done too much research into it. I am happy to admit that I do enjoy eating meat. I do agree, though, that there are some very good arguments to think about in terms of the cruelty towards animals. I think the way animals are looked after and the process of killing needs that's an important point of that discussion. There are some very terrible stories that you end up hearing, and those stories can make you question a lot. but I think it depends what. I know some people try to take on the whole subject in one big go. I've never tried to take on the subject in one big go. I think it's such a huge field. I think you almost need to pick your category at times to think about. The one that I have probably thought about the most, and the one that I am probably more concerned, is to do with overfishing. That would be my perspective. The reason being is overfishing and then the pollution of the sea, like throwing plastic into the sea. Um, it's such an important element in terms of ecosystems and life on our planet that my interest perhaps takes a little bit more, takes me towards sea life a little bit more than land animals. But like I said, I do enjoy eating meat. I eat meat almost every day, not every day, but not every day, but almost every day. Let me know what you guys think, and let's see. Do you guys have any other answers for 3? Okay, Sam, something. Can I just explain why? Any other ways that we could finish that? And then, like I said, your answers for 1, your answers for 2 make sense. The first part of 3, sorry to cut you off, but that makes sense. So we just need to think about this last one. Sam, can I just explain why? Which options do we have that perhaps best go with that? I know which one I would go with. Okay. So my answer for C, because your answers for 1 and 2 make perfect sense. So my answers for 3 would be, I'd agree with Lee and Dina for the first bit. Sorry to cut you off. But, and the second part of the answer, I would go with this before you go on. Before you go on, can I just explain why? So that's what my answer would be for that one. Excellent, guys. So this is what it is. That's how you can go about interrupting. That's how you can interrupt with negative comments. What I would say is how you'll think of your language, like your tone of voice. Is it really negative, or are you quite neutral? It does depend. I think sometimes people can be you don't want to say this too angrily, I would say. If you want people to listen to you, I would say you need to choose a fairly normal speaking tone. Um, but I would say these are some very, very useful expressions that certainly help, that certainly make it easier to interrupt with your opinions, because that's what we're looking at here. We're looking to see how can you interrupt and give your opinion, or how can you just give a negative comment as well. Okay. So, guys, before we end, we're going to end in just a few minutes. In a few minutes' time, please make sure, as always, that you like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, on our channel, we do have a new We have a new short video. It's on the past continuous, and I strongly recommend you watch the daily. Well, it comes under a series, and it's short videos. So if you are watching these videos and your English at the moment is, maybe you're pre-intermediate, for example, and you're trying to follow the live lessons, definitely look at something like the short videos. There are lots of really good short videos that we've now created, and there's a lot to learn from these as well. So make sure you check out the new video, and there'll be a new short video as well next week. So a big thank you to Alida. Big thank you to Leondina, Noella, Irina F, Sandra. Thank you all for your contribution today, and thank you as well to anyone else who's watching. Sandra says, thanks for the video. You're welcome. Tomorrow is TV show English. We're going to look at some TV shows, and we're going to look at the English that we can take from these TV shows. Irina F says, thanks, Richard. Have a good evening. You too. So a big thank you to everyone. Make sure you join me same time tomorrow for another live English lesson. Sandra says bye and nice evening. You too, bye and have a nice evening. Don't forget, bye is with an E as well. Ian says thank you, Richard. See you tomorrow. You're welcome. See you tomorrow. And thank you. See you tomorrow as well, says Noella. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care and see you tomorrow at the same time tomorrow here on the AM Language YouTube channel. Take care and bye for now.